people, welcome to another episode of Grand Football TV, and it is your host as always, Mr. Chick. How are we doing? If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. What are you doing, man? Just do it. Yeah, let's get on with the show. Okay, we are into game week 12. Game week 12 after another international break. Yeah, so we're back. So like we always do, before we go into game week 12, we'll look again at game week 11 and see how we did as a community, the Grand Football Pundit community, and see how we did, and see if anyone got the correct scores or anything like that before we move into game week 12. Okay, let's go straight into it. Brentford versus Bournemouth. Brentford versus Bournemouth. That was a very interesting game. The little I can remember of it. You can forgive me, we've had the international break. Looks like ages ago now this game was played. Yeah, so Brentford winning that one 3-2. I remember that game. But amongst our predictors, no one got that correct score of 3-2. I mean, they got the correct outcome, but no one got 3-2 as the correct score. So we move on to the next game. Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Again, no one got the correct score of 2-0 to Fulham. So we move on to the next game, which I believe no one would have got that as well. West Ham versus Everton. People expected goals in this one, but it finished 0-0. And from the looks of it, no one predicted 0-0. People had draws, but no one predicted a 0-0 scoreline. We're moving fast. Wolves versus Southampton. Wolverhampton getting their first win, beating Southampton 2-0. And we have a few people who got that correct score. Well done to Tammy Zach, and well done to David. They got the correct score of 2-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Then the shock of that weekend, Brighton versus Manchester City. Brighton versus Manchester City. And we have Brighton winning that one 2-1. And one person, shout out to Yema. Yema got the correct score of 2-1 to Brighton. So well done to him. I don't know how he managed to pull that off, but he picked Brighton to beat Man City 2-1. So he gets the 5 points for that game. So well done to Yema. Then the next game, Liverpool versus Aston Villa. And that one finished with Liverpool beating Aston Villa 2-0. And this was one of our star games. And we have two people again who got the correct score. Well done to Finn. And well done to Yema again. So Yema got the 10 points for that one, because we give an extra 5 points if you predict the correct score for a star game. So Yema and Finn got 10 points for that one. So well done to them. Man United versus Leicester. Man United versus Leicester. Man United, Ruud van Nistelrooy's last game before Amorim taking over. And they signed off with a good win. 3-0 versus Leicester. No one predicted 3-0. Oh, someone actually. David. Well done to David. David predicted 3-0 to Man United, so he gets the 5 points for that. Well done to David. Then we have Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle. Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle, and I can see here that Newcastle ran away with that one. Away win to Newcastle 3-1, and no one predicted 3-1. A few people predicted Newcastle to win away from home, but they didn't get the correct score of 3-1. Well done to them, though, because I didn't think Newcastle would get a result at Forest based on how they've been playing. So well done. Another shock of the that weekend, was Tottenham versus Ipswich. Ipswich winning. I didn't even realize it was at Tottenham's ground. I knew Ipswich won, but I thought Ipswich were at home. I don't know why I was thinking that. Well, Ipswich, a good result for them, away from home, 2-1 against Tottenham. And again, no one even predicted Ipswich to win. So this is how Tottenham let everyone down with their predictions. So the last one for that game week 11 was Chelsea versus Arsenal. Chelsea versus Arsenal. That was our second star game, and it finished 1-1. And there was one person who got the correct score of 1-1. Shout out to Kiki. She got the score of 1-1 correct. And she got the 10 points for that game. So yeah, after game week 11, this is what the table looks like. Yema still on top with 288 points. And Finn closing in now. He's closing in. He's on 270 points as he sits in second. And in third we have Chris with 256 points. Well done to Chris and Finn and Yema, who are enjoying being at the top of the predictors table. Game week 12. Game week 12 is here. And it's going to be some interesting games coming up in this game week 12. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section. What are your thoughts about the games for game week 12? Do you think the big boys at the top will keep on winning this weekend? You know, Pep has just signed a 1-year contract. Man United have got Amorim in. Chelsea and Arsenal need to keep chasing the pack, and Arne Slot is sitting pretty at the top. So we'll see how this week pans out. If there are any surprises, if there are any upsets this week. So kicking off on the early kickoff on Saturday is Leicester versus Chelsea. Leicester versus Chelsea. Enzo Maresca going back to where he just finished managing before coming to Chelsea. So it will be a very, very interesting game. But I see Leicester wanting to make amends as well for their poor performance in their last game before the international break. You know, that's the thing about the international break. Sometimes it's good for some teams who were doing badly to, regroup and try and see if they can win their next games. Or if you're on a good run, you don't want the break because it's kind of like stops your flow. So let's see what happens in this game. But I see this game finishing in a draw. I might be wrong about the final score, but I'm going with a 1-1 draw. A 1-1 draw. And then Arsenal play Nottingham Forest. That's a big game. Normally you would say this is a game Arsenal should win comfortably based on where they normally are at the table and where Forest normally are. But this season's different. Forest are up there playing well. You know, got a good structure in the team. Everyone's playing really well. The likes of Elanga, the likes of Wood, Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs-White, they're all doing really well. So this is going to be a tricky game for Arsenal. And Arsenal don't really play well. I mean, they might get a result at home, but it's never, ever comfortable. So this game, as an Arsenal fan, I don't know what to make of it. But I'm still going to go for my team to win. So I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. 2-0. Arsenal to beat Nottingham Forest. It will probably be a very, very tight game. And the goals might come late, but I see them winning. They should win. They have to win. Because if they don't win, and the other teams win, they're pretty much out of the running for the league this season, in my opinion. So this is a game that Arsenal must win. Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Villa have been faltering just like Arsenal of late, and Man City, so they would want to, I think the break was a good one for them, so they would probably see themselves coming out in this game and trying to beat Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace as well, they haven't had a great start to the season, but they're missing quite a few players. I'm not sure if Eze is going to be back for this game, but I still see Villa too strong for them. So I'm going for a Villa win, 2-0. Villa to beat Crystal Palace 2-0. Bournemouth versus Brighton. This is going to be a very, very hard game. In fact, it's too hard to call. Very, very hard to call because both teams have been playing well in between, so I'm just going to go for the home win. I'm going to go for the team playing at home because Bournemouth, they've dispatched a few teams that have come to their patch this season, like Man City, Arsenal, they've done the business. So I feel they will do the business again against Arsenal and against Brighton. So I'm going for a 2-1 win to Bournemouth. Bournemouth beating Brighton 2-1. Everton versus Brentford. Everton, not a great season as well. I mean, they started picking up points lately, but Brentford are always interested in their games this season because their games always guarantee you goals. And Wissa's back. I don't know if he's going to be fit enough for this game because on the FPL it's looking like he's not totally fit again. But if he is playing, he will definitely be a threat. And Buemo's always a threat. So this game is going to be difficult for Everton. But for some reason, I've gone for Everton to actually win the game. So I'm going for an Everton win. I'm going for Everton to beat Brentford at home 2-1. Fulham versus Wolverhampton. Fulham versus Wolves. Very tricky game, very hard game. Jimenez playing against his old club and all that. Adama Traore as well playing against his old club. So it'll be interesting to see the matchup in the game. But I still see this game as going both ways. So it's hard to call, and I'm going to call it as a draw. I'm going to say it will finish in a 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw. Manchester City versus Tottenham. This is the biggest game of the weekend, in my opinion. And I see Man City bouncing back. They've had too many faults. If they falter here, then it's really, 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 really going to be a bad season for City. But I don't see them, because Tottenham will always be Tottenham. I know they always try to play well when they play Man City, but this one might just be a different kind of game. This game, Man City know they need to win. It's not one of them ones where they're happy if they drop points. They can make it up somewhere else. They need to win this game so they don't make it 5 out of 5. So I'm going to go for a City win. Haaland getting a brace, in my opinion, and City winning 3-1 against Tottenham. 3-1. Southampton versus Liverpool. This is going to be a game where Liverpool will probably do their normal business they've been doing all season. But it's always funny. These are the kind of games where you expect them to win comfortably. I remember the last time Man City played Southampton, I went for a high score and City could only score 1 goal. That was when I knew things were not great with City. But this one, I don't see that happening for Liverpool. They've been playing really well, unless coming back from international break has had its toll on a few of the players and they might not play very well. But if they all turn up, I see them beating Southampton comfortably, and I'm going for Liverpool to win away from home 4-1. 4-1. Ipswich versus Man United. Amorim's first game, and Ipswich will be buzzing from that win, their first win against Tottenham. So this is another big game for them, and they would want to give their fans something to really cheer about, considering their last game was away from home. Now the fans will be at home cheering on them to go on and win this game. But Man United, they've got a new manager bounce, and I feel he's just going to get those guys playing better than they normally would. So I see them getting a result in this one. I see Man United beating Ipswich by a slim margin. I'm going for 2-1. Man United to win 2-1. Newcastle versus West Ham. This is a Monday kickoff, and it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. But I'm going for Newcastle to beat West Ham. It is going to be very, very difficult. West Ham coming all the way to the north and beating Newcastle. It'll be tricky. It'll be interesting if they do, but I don't see it happening. I'm going for a win for Newcastle. Newcastle to win 3-1 at home. Comfortable win. Isak maybe getting a goal and an assist or something. Yeah, good game for them, I can foresee. So yeah, that's the predictions for game week 12. What are your predictions? Let us know in the comment section, and we will see you in our next video. Bye for now.
Don't check this.